This is the new BMW M240i. It's the hot M-lite version of the new 2 Series Coupe, and in this video I'm going to tell you all about the upgrades over the standard car, from the design changes, the interior changes, the performance upgrades, and what it's like to drive. And of course, yes, I'm going to launch it because I'm Matt Watson and you're watching Carwow. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you won't miss a single upload. Buy, sell, Carwow. Let's start off this video by talking about the main reason to have the M240i version of the new 2 Series, and it's this thing under here. Look, it's absolutely beautiful. Actually, it doesn't look all that beautiful. Anyway, it's a 3-litre straight 6 turbocharged petrol engine which puts out 374 horsepower and 500 newton meters of torque, and it drives all 4 wheels by an 8-speed automatic gearbox, though you can control it manually with paddle shifters. Oh yes. Now this thing's supposed to do 0 to 60, and actually I'm not going to tell you. You're going to find out for yourself because I'm going to launch it later in the video and time it over the standing quarter mile as well. Obviously with an upgraded engine you're going to need some upgraded brakes, and that's why the M240i gets the M Sport brakes as standard. That means that you have 348mm disc up front gripped by 4-piston calipers and 345mm disc at the back gripped by single piston caliper. However, you can upgrade it. If you go for the Pro Pack, you get slightly bigger brake disc at the front. You get 374mm. Anyway, what does that do to the stopping performance? I'm going to do a brake test to see how long it takes this car to stop from 60 miles an hour. Let's get to 60, cruise along a bit, and now set my specialist timing gear to measure the braking. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, emergency stop. So, what distance did it take? Oh, look, 32 meters. Now let's talk through the design upgrades over the normal 2 Series Coupe. So you get a bootlit spoiler as standard. You obviously have the M240i badging. You've got the X-Drive badging because it's the 4-wheel drive. And you get a diffusory effect here with these ridges in the lower part of the bumper. They don't do anything. You also get twin exhaust pipes which have larger trapezoidal surrounds. Though they're an exaggeration because the real pipes are inside. And they're actually large enough, I don't know why they have to be so exaggerated. Anyway, moving down the sides, look, ooh, 19-inch alloy wheels and wheel arch extensions. The wheel arch extensions actually come with a Pro Pack. They're not standard on the M240i. What is though, these look, M-style door mirrors which you can fist. M badging down here at the front. I wanted to move on from that quickly, it was a bit embarrassing. And then round at the very front, you have a much deeper front bumper and larger intakes than on the other 2 Series models. Here on the inside, the main upgrade that you get with the M240i are these lovely sports seats, leathery and comfy, supportive, like them. I also like the fact that the M240i gets the little stitching there on the seat belts. You've got the similar kind of pattern there on the floor mats. You've got the M sill plates, and of course you get some blue stitching. Other than that, it's the same as the normal 2 Series Coupe, and they all get an M Sport steering wheel, which is all right. It's a little bit on the thick side, but it's fine. And the rest of the 2 Series cabin, which feels quality and is very nice, and the infotainment system is pretty easy to use, and the dials aren't the brightest, but they give you enough information. There's more M-ness here in the back of the M240i, so look, you've got the M patterning again on the seat belts, even back here, and the same patterning on the seats as well, so they just feel a bit more sporty than the standard cars. Still, if you want to carry people in your fast German machine, you might be a little bit better off with an Audi S3, and if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out bar up there for the link in the description below. Speaking of which, yeah, these integrated headrests do block your view if you're sat in the rear. And that brings on to 5 annoying things about the BMW M240i. This car is an automatic only, there is no manual option. I know that's the way things are on these cars nowadays and no one really wants a manual, but I'm going to keep complaining about it because sometimes you might want a manual, right? I mean, you can get an M4 with a manual after all. They're not in the UK, just in other markets. While I'm super pleased that BMW hasn't fitted this car with a soft limiter, you can rev it while standing still all the way to the red line. It's just the shame that emissions regulations and noise regulations mean that you don't get to fully enjoy the sound that this 6-cylinder engine can make. So go on, rev it up, see what I mean. It's enough. I mean, it's all right, but that last bit, that is about all the pops and bangs you get. That's it. Sorry. This car's rather expensive. It starts at £46,000. This one is £50,000 with options for the M-lite. Yes, I know things are going up in price, but that's a little bit much. Speaking of which, if you're thinking about buying one of these, or any car for that matter, and you want to make sure you're paying a fair price for it, you need to check out the latest deals and offers on Carwow. Also, through Carwow, you can now sell your current car to make sure you get a good price for that. You just have to upload some photos, and our dealers will bid on your car to make sure you get a good price, and they'll come to your house, take the car away and put the money straight in your account. Now, if you want to do that now, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Alternatively, at a later date, simply Google Wow Me Carwow and we will wow you. Considering this car's price, it's a bit of a shame that you don't get the adaptive dampers as standard, because they do just improve the car's driving dynamics. Considering this is supposed to be more sporty than the standard 2 Series Coupe, BMW could have gone a little bit further with the sports displays. That's all you get, G-force and Newton meters and horsepower and some boost pressure. And then you look at the menus and think, oh, wait a minute, look, oh yeah, driving style analysis. Surely that's going to grade how good a driver I am on track, you know, that kind of information. But actually, no, it's more about driving efficiently, because it only works in Eco Pro mode. Why have that on the M240i? This new M240i has put on a bit of weight, bless it. You see, the old M240i weighed in at 1,505 kilos, though that was the rear drive version. The X-drive version actually weighed in at 1,615 kilos, but that's still lighter than this one, because this tips the scales at 1,690 kilos. Though to be fair, this is based on the 4 Series platform, and the M440i actually weighs 1,815 kilos. And so that brings me on to 5 cool things about this car. The M240i has a 9mm wider track at the front and 4mm wider track at the rear over the standard 2 Series Coupe for improved road holding. This M-lite version of the 2 Series Coupe gets a limited slip differential on the rear axle as standard. If you get the Performance Pro pack, you have improved cooling for the engine, but more interestingly, you get slightly wider front wheels with wider front tyres for more grip, and you don't have the standard Pirelli tyres. Instead, you upgraded to Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, which are a better tyre. The M240i gets the ambient lighting as standard, which is nice because look, you get this panel here in the door among other places, and you can change colour between white, bronze, orange, which looks like bronze, blue, green, and lilac, also known as purple. The 4-wheel drive system on this car can send up to 100% of the power to the rear wheels. You can't make it fully rear-wheel drive only. When the rear wheels start to slip, it will send power to the front, but it should give this car a proper rear drive bias feel. See if I can make it do some donuts. Yeah, it'll go round. But you can feel it trying to go the other way. So you go that way and you have to kind of pivot back the other way and make it look like you're meant to do that, and then it's all okay, I guess. But to continue a donut is a lot harder. Oh, yeah, I'll take that for a 4-wheel drive system, it's okay. Don't know why it made me talk in that voice, but it did. Obviously, you bought this car to have fun with it on a twisty road, right? So let's do that first of all. Now, I've got the car set up in Sport Individual mode because I've pre-configured it so that I've got the engine and the transmission in their most aggressive setting. But the suspension and the steering I've got in comfort because the steering just feels more natural in comfort. The car just breathes with the road better. Now, if you're on a very smooth German Alpine road, then yes, you would go into the full sport mode and it would be very flat. But here in the UK, nah, not so much, mate. And my God, this car does breathe with the road really well. It's great. It gives you the confidence to really just hoon it about. You do feel it moving about, but it's always very composed. This is me doing an impression of a car moving about beneath you, by the way. This engine, it's brilliant. It's so smooth. It's got so much low down punch. You don't realise it's turbocharged. And even though the sound is piped in through the speakers somewhat, it's a good noise. I'll forgive BMW for that. It's impressive. I don't think that really in an M2 you're going to be quicker. The old M2, nah. You'll be quick on a country road in this, you just will. What you won't do though is quite feel the hard edge involvement that you get with the old M2, but as a thing to use, it's just easier to drive quicker, it really is. And it's easier than the old M240i. That suspension felt a little bit more bobbly and a bit looser, not as tied down as this. It just is a bit like, yeah, it wasn't as good. I really like this. I think they've done a grand job. Even though it's based on that 4 Series platform, it's a lot lighter, so it just feels more agile, and the whole car just feels smaller on the road. But let's not get too carried away. You know, people are going to want to daily drive this, right? So put the car into like normal mode. In fact, don't bother. Keep it in this sport individual because it's comfy enough for daily driving. The gearbox as well, when you're just cruising about, it's just so smooth. And then if you want to take control yourself with the paddles, it's responsive. Not dual clutch responsive, but responsive enough. And believe it or not, I'm averaging almost 30 miles per gallon, which is great considering the performance. You get on the motorway, you'll get 40 miles per gallon out of this engine, I reckon. This car's also reasonably quiet when you're just cruising along at speed on the motorway. You don't need a 4 Series. Don't get an M440, I get this, definitely. BMW says this car will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.3 seconds. Now, it's going to be quicker than that, but exactly how much quicker, I don't know. So I'm going to find out by launching it and timing it with my specialist timing gear up here. Here we go. Oh yes, it feels quick, and it hooked up, no tyre spin at all. 0 to 60, 3.82 seconds. What is the quarter mile? Come on. Sorry, I'm making, sounds like a monkey, but I'm quite excited. 12.21 seconds quarter mile. That is nuts. For what is the BMW M-lite car? What will the M2 do? Anyway, if you want to compare those stats to some similar models, pause the video now because we're going to put a graphic on the screen. So then what's my final verdict on the new BMW M240i? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it, or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should just go right ahead and buy it. It's absolutely brilliant.